So we are looking at addition and subtraction of fractions. So whenever you are adding or subtracting fractions, two situations occur. There are two possible situations that occur. The first situation is the denominators are the same. Subtracting fractions, first thing you need to observe is, are the denominators the same? The second is, the denominators are different. So the first thing, the second situation is, the denominators of the fractions are different. So whenever you're adding or subtracting fractions, you have to check, are the denominators of these fractions the same, or are the denominators of the fractions different? So the way you solve fractions when the denominators are the same is a little bit easier than when you are solving fractions with different denominators. The first three examples we're going to look at are situations where the denominators are the same. Okay? So the first example, two over 5 plus 1 over 5. So this is a very simple fraction to solve. So as I said earlier, when you are given a fraction, check, are the denominators the same or are the denominators different? We can see that in this example, the denominators are the same. So here we have 5, here we have 5. In the process of solving fractions, the first step is make the two denominators to become 1. So out of the two denominators, or more than two denominators, you might have more than two denominators, but you have to make all the denominators to become 1. So when the denominators are the same, all you need to do is pick one of them as the common denominator. So since they are the same, the common denominator is going to be 5. So in this situation, the denominators are the same. So once you've gotten the common denominator, the next thing you are going to do is divide the common denominator by each of these two denominators and multiply what you get by the numerator. Let's do it. 5 divided by 5, it gives you 1. So 1 multiplied by 2 gives you 2. So what I mean is, you divide by this denominator and multiply by the numerator. Divide by the denominator, multiply by the numerator. So 5 divided by 5 gives you 1. 1 times 2 gives you 2. So write it down. I'll bring the plus sign down. 5 divided by 5 gives you 1. 1 times 1 gives you 1. So in this situation, 2 plus 1 gives you 3. So we have 3 over 5 as our answer. So when adding fractions with the same denominator, it's very easy, right? So let's look at another example. Number 3 example. 8 over 12 minus 5 over 12. Okay, so the same process we applied in the previous example is the same two examples and this example. Okay, so we can see that the denominators are the same. So since the denominators are the same, we pick one of the two as the common denominator, so 12. Next, 12 divided by 12 gives you 1. 1 times 8 gives you 8. Bring the minus sign down. 12 divided by 12 gives you 1. 1 times 5 gives you 5. So in a situation where the denominators are the same, you can just easily pick the numerators and put them over here. I'm just doing the process so that you know the process. 12 divided by 12 gives you 1. 1 times 8 gives you 8. This 3 over 12 is expected to be written in its simplest form. In a previous lesson, we have also learned about writing fractions in its simplest form, down to a simpler form of the fraction. 3 divided by 3, 1. 12 divided by 3, 4. So this can be written as 1 over 4. So that is the simplest form of this answer we got. So sometimes you might be writing an exam and you've gotten up to this point, 3 over 12, but you might not see any of the options as 3 over 12. So you might be expected to break it down to its simplest form. So we have looked at fractions, how to add and subtract fractions when the denominators are the same. So now we want to consider a situation where we are going to add or subtract fractions when the denominators are different. Okay? When the denominators are different. Let's look at that. Four over 5 plus 3 over 4. So here we are expected to add these two fractions. As I said earlier, the first thing you observe is, are the denominators the same? In this particular example, the denominators are not the same. So what is the first thing we do? We try to get a common denominator for these two different denominators. But there are two ways of getting it done. The first way is, if the denominators are less than 10, the common denominator, to get the common denominator, simply multiply both of them together. Okay, so we can see that 5 is less than 10, 4 is less than 10, so the common denominator is 20. We multiply both of them together. 20 is the common denominator. So when the denominators are different and both denominators are less than 10, the common denominator, to get the common denominator, simply multiply both of them together. So 5 times 4 gives us 20. Okay, next, 20, which is the common denominator, divided by 5, that will give you 4. 4 multiplied by 4, that will give you 16. So we have 16 here. Plus 20 divided by 4, that will give you 5. 5 multiplied by 3, that will give you 15. So now we add these two together. 16 plus 15 will give us 31. We have 31 over 20. Okay? So you can leave your answer like this, but it is better to leave your answer as a mixed number. This is an improper fraction, so you need to convert this improper fraction to a mixed number. How do we do it? Our denominator is 20, therefore we write 31 in terms of 20. So 31 is the same thing as 20 plus 11. So 20 plus 11 over 20. Okay? So since we have just 120 at the top, our answer is going to be one whole number, 11 over 20. We have been able to add these two fractions with different denominators together. Let's look at another example. Remember, in this example, the denominators are different, but both denominators are less than 10. Okay, so when the denominators are less than 10, we multiply them together to get the common denominator. Let's see an example where both denominators are more than 10. In this example, the denominators are different. Here the denominator is 12, here the denominator is 15. So we need a common denominator. But if we decide to multiply both denominators, just as we did when the denominators were less than 10, 12 multiplied by 15, what's the answer going to be? 180. So if we multiply the denominators together, our common denominator is going to be 180. So using 180 as our common denominator is going to make our work more complex. So in this situation, you can just simply find the LCM of the two denominators. That will give you a smaller value. So let's look at the LCM. So 12 and 15. Okay. So what can we use? We can use 2. We have 6 and 15. We use 2 again. We have 3 and 15. At this point, we can no longer use 2, so we use 3. 1 and 5, and then we use 5. 1, and 1. So if we multiply all these values, 5 multiplied by 3 gives us 6. Sorry, 5 multiplied by 3 gives us 15. Sorry, 15 multiplied by 2 gives us 30. 30 multiplied by 2 gives us 60. So the common denominator by this process is 60. But if we decide to multiply them, common denominator would have been 108. Right? Good. So 60. Remember, you can use 180, you'll get the same answer. But it's better to use the LCM when the values are bigger than 10. If you don't want your work to be more complex. Okay? So now we can do 60 divided by 12. That will give us 5. 5 multiplied by 6, that will give us 30. Plus 60 divided by 15, that will give us 4. 4 multiplied by 8, that will give us 32. Okay? So it's just an easier way of getting it done instead of multiplying. So 30 plus 32 gives us 62. Okay? But we can break this down because 2 can divide both 62 and 60. 2 divided by 62 gives us 31. 60 divided by 2 gives us 30. So at the end of the day, our answer is one whole number, 1 over 30. Okay. So we have seen how to add fractions when the denominators are the same. We have also seen how to add fractions when the denominators are different. Let's solve one question where we can subtract fractions when the denominators are different. Oh. 12 over 15 minus 4 over 10. Okay, so now we want to solve 12 over 15 minus 4 over 10. We can see that one of the denominators is 15 and the other one is 10. If you want to multiply them together, you're going to get 150 as a common denominator. But if we decide to find their LCM, let's see what we are going to get. 2 can divide, so we have 2, 15, and 5. 3, 5, and 5. 5, 1, and 1. So 5 multiplied by 3 gives us 15. 15 multiplied by 2 gives us 30. So we can see that instead of having a common denominator of 150, we can have a common denominator of 30. So that's why I said when the number is large, you use LCM. But if the numbers are smaller than 10, you can just multiply them together. Okay? So now we do 30 divided by 15, that gives us 2. 2 multiplied by 12, that gives us 24. Minus 30 divided by 10, that gives us 3. 3 multiplied by 4, that gives us 12. Okay? So now we can subtract 24 minus 12, that gives us 12. So we have 12 over 30. But we can reduce this fraction to its simplest form. 6 can divide 12 and 6 can divide 30. So 12 divided by 6 gives us 2. 30 divided by 6 gives us 5. So our final answer is 2 over 5. Okay? So we have been able to add fractions and subtract fractions when the denominators are the same and when the denominators are different. Okay?